To part 3 of the Intro to Web Development Engineering series from Christex Foundation. In today's lesson, we'll be dealing with HTML and trying to get a fundamental understanding of what HTML is, what it's used for, and get our hands dirty with writing some HTML scripts. So, just based off of what you've heard and what we don't see, right? Waiting you feel say na HTML before you go further into this video and anything. Sit down and try for understand, or just give yourself like a random guess. Pause the video now and guess to yourself. Waiting na HTML page. In the previous video, we mentioned Markdown as another markup language, but HTML are the particular markup language we can use for structure and we create with web pages. So any websites we can go, including this one right now, even web apps, they are all built with or they are all created using HTML. So it's safe to say without HTML, like web pages and websites and web apps wouldn't really exist. Right? So HTML is also used for create like the structure of a web page. So in HTML, right? In HTML, we use things we call tags, right? But before we go into that, they make we understand something. Usai, you they write HTML, right? Where? So the thing is, and the honest truth is, you can write HTML, you can write Java, you can write JavaScript, you can write anything, any Usai you want. But the important thing is, Usai you dey able run what you write and Usai they able run them and see the output where you look for, right? And with HTML, it's very simple. You can write HTML in any text editor, and also with text editors we don't talk about it in a text editor, which you can use them for in the previous video them. So with HTML you can write in Sublime Text. If you use Windows, you can write a Notepad. You can write even in your notes app where you get on your iPhone. You can use code editors and IDEs like Visual Studio. You can even write online using web IDEs like CodePen and Replit. So the important thing is not Usai you be able to write HTML. The important thing is Usai you be able to see the output of what you write. So we very first exercise today, like I mentioned, this particular video is highly practical. So you can pause the video now, so try for type out this code. Just like I see, you can write at any side. Just try for type out any side, and then when you do that, and then you can come back and continue the video. Yes, so I will assume you don't already type that intro code in any text editor or code editor of your choice. So now we can try for understand how we they go from writing this code just from any text editor to seeing the output of this code. Yes, so we can walk through this so everybody go understand what's in the happen. Right? So me they use Sublime Text. Just like I mentioned, say with HTML, you can write any site, you can use any IDE, text editor or code editor. So this is just good practice. When you can, the very first thing you can do is go up to File, click on Save As, then you select Usai for save your file, then you save it with the name my first page.html. You save it on your home page. So once you don't do that, and once you don't save your file, then you come into writing the code. And in HTML, just like I mentioned, we use things that we call tags. So a tag basically is declared using the opening and closed, greater than and less than sign, right? And when we go through markup languages, we learn that there are different markup languages like Markdown. But in HTML, and markup languages are used for structure a particular page or a document, right? So we very first will type doc type HTML. What this basically do is tell this text editor or whatever they use in this particular document an HTML document. That's basically what it means. And the next tag we go to is called the HTML tag. HTML tag, right? In HTML, everything you write, every tag you write, every source code you write, every thing you do suppose for the inside this your HTML tag. This basically is saying this HTML document, the content of this HTML document starts now and in the end now. So just like how they say, HTML you use tags and every tag again like a pair you get opening and closing tag. And the difference between an opening tag is opening tag starts with this sign, you get written inside the tag which is HTML and then this other sign. Whereas the closing tag gets the opening and then you get a forward slash and then the name of the particular tag. And the next tag we go to is the header tag, right? And written at the head tag. So if we go back to the web page, you see in this page up here, we get the title of the page which is called Introduction to HTML, correct? So usually wetin dey inside the head tag in HTML and like a container element, and this element most times you get like metadata about this page and link to external resource, right? And going back to the free web page, here we see this introduction to HTML, we know the title of the page. This is also declared in the head, right? So there's another tag called title, right? And inside they now they put the title of the page. You two want this page the title for be my. So this title they put inside, so now they determine within are the title of this particular page. For example, this page, the title now introduction to HTML. That means if we go to the source code of this page, you will see say the title is would be for this particular page, the title would be introduction to HTML. We will continue. And the next tag they use now is the body. And I think this self-explanatory. What you think go inside the body? What's inside the body tag or the body element is everything we contained within the body of a particular web page. So if we go back and use the same web page as an example, right? We get to a title, this text, this content, all of this is found inside the body elements of the web page. So starting back from the top, we declare so this is an HTML page and we create the HTML tag when inside it everything they do. The head, the body, there are other tags called footers and the likes. Right? And then inside the HTML we get the head. And inside the head we get title, there are other elements like meta, with this the link, this they show like the metadata of the page. And you can also get links to external resources where the page need, right? And we get with body. Inside we body now, and we put whatever we want or whatever this web page they about. So let's go to another tag called H1 tag. Right? So using this web page as an example, in this web page, like back in school, we be the right when you take notes. They get the topic, then you get subtopic, then sometimes even subtopic, you get like a subtopic of the subtopic. Right? So in HTML, it's the same thing. You get like headers, when I like a big text where if you relate and to take a note in school, this is the topic. They get smaller headers. I think let's visit the course site. I think it can go be that. Yes. So this course site, you get this header when I this okay, this is intro to web development series, right? Then we get like smaller headers like this internet basics. So for declare this, for do things like this, that is where the head or the headers tag come in, and they are declared using h1. It runs from h1 right down to h5, and they represent different sizes of headers. We can let's test them out and see how they work from h1 to h5. So using a text editor like Sublime Text, we get the ability, because it's advanced in the GUI, like autocomplete feature. So if you just start for type, as long as you don't save this, say this na an HTML page, you don't save her with the .html extension, and you don't declare at this top, as you begin for type, it will appear to you. So for do this, let's use rename. Let's say Chris Text Foundation. You don't need to use Chris Text, you can use your name. Chris Text Foundation, they up FBC. Chris Text Foundation are a non-profit. Sorry. And this is the engineering workshop week 3. So I think make we go and see the output of this particular content we don't do. So we they save, they go into the directory where you save your HTML file. So for me, it's saved in the desktop, and then you just a double clicker. And when you do that one day, your browser once you do that one, the browser automatically they pick them up and open it for you. So if you see now, we get in the web page which we don't do, just the cover be the explain the Chris Text Foundation. It's bolded and at the header, and then we get like a smaller header which is FBC, and an even smaller header, the non-profit, and how you they can on the line, and so the headers that is small. So doing this, like you actually develop like a web page where you need to get different headers with different sizes for amplify, because another thing in design is these headers when they pop out, these things so we get like bigger text. These are the things that you want people in for look at first. So for example, once you can at this page, the very first thing they draw your attention and the intro to web development, because it's big, it's attention grabbing, right? So for deal with headers, forget different headers, subheaders with text. This is how you do it in HTML. And also want to point out something. This step is the same for every HTML page you do. You just go use your text editor, create a file, save them, write your script them, and then once you open them, automatically they open for you. So let's go back to the slides and continue with. So the next stage is for create a p tag, right? What the p tag basically do is a paragraph, right? The P stands for paragraph. So let's say in your web page you want to write content, so you don't get to header, say we header at Chris Text Foundation, but on that we will write something about Chris Text Foundation. Say Chris Text Foundation now a non-profit organization when they on Chris Text blah blah blah. Depending on what you choose, you can write about yourself. Seminar, Daniel, a girl, Ade Wilkins, you the whatever you want for write, but you want to put in a paragraph and not a header. And for do that, they will use repeat tag, right? So we mean paragraph. So going back to the code, let's see, we put it under text foundation. So it's simple, same step, create a p tag, and then you type say Chris Text non-profit organization, and then you save them. When you come back to you web page, you dey see and they say a mistake. Chris Text na a non-profit organization, and you text can go as far as you want, whatever you want for put, you can put inside this. So we dey just copy this, and then we save. Come here. At times, when you save, you go need for refresh this your web page to make you see the changes that we don't make. So you see, we have an header, then we get paragraph. And then if we notice, if we go back to the code, you see everything we do, they inside this body elements, because if you pull them outside, it's not going to render. Even though there are certain HTML tag and elements where they use outside of the body, but for now, they could just stick to this. So these are other basic HTML tags and HTML elements here. We don't go through P, who we use for declare and for get a paragraph in a web page. Another one is the A tag, which is for links. Let's say you want to create a link to an external page. You want for a link. Let's say you get this web page, you are linker to another web page, or you are linker to a web page outside of your website. Like for example, work you don't gonna them web pages the way they see Google, you see Instagram icon, and when you click them, they take you to Instagram. So for do that one day, now we can use the A tag. But make we really see how this tag they work. So if we come say A, yes. So this is another thing we need to pay attention to. With HTML tags and HTML elements, there are things we also they call attributes, right? So for this stage, they make you just think of attributes like extra details or extra functionality where we can add to a particular HTML element. That is like the best way for think about it, but it has a deeper meaning. But for now, we can just stick to that simple and basic explanation, right? So if you want for declare, if you want to get a link in the web page, you use the A tag. And the A tag is href attribute, right? Within this attributes, basically they take in a value, and this value in this case they be the link to the web page there where you are at. Right, so let's say for example, we take the link to this course and we put them inside it. And we say into web dev. So make we save this and see what's in the output where we get. So come back to the file, we refresh, and we see now we get a link to this web page we get. Inside this web page we do, and if we click that link there, basically they take we can also understand. So and here is, if you look closely in the code inside it, a tag we put what we want make the link display as, right? And this can be anything. It can be Google. So let's save you go refresh, you see the change to Google, but the attributes connected to this, even though na Google, when you click at this page it take you to. There are other attributes and other values we can assign to links, but for the purpose of this lesson, make we just stick to this. So this is how you add a link to a page in your web page. So another tag, another element, HTML element you can look at is image, right? How to add a picture inside of your web page. So we don't learn how to get a paragraph, we don't learn how to link an external page. Now they can learn how to get picture inside of your web page, right? And for do that, they will basically they use the img image tag, and similar to how the A tag they work, the image tag also they take in an attribute which is called the source attribute, SIC. Basically what this mean is, yes, you want to put this picture na your web page, but outside this picture there, right? So in your source attribute, now inside there, now you put the link or the path to a particular picture where you want. So for this, let's just take any random GIF online and put them inside we web page. Make we see. Let's say happy birthday, even though it's not to me birthday. Just come, copy the link, go back, include and the save, then you come to the web page and refresh. Now we don't get this picture inside the web page, and this is the step. Let's say you get her locally, you basically just stay in this source, define usai na you laptop, usai locally you get na machine, whose particular part it is. So we include the div and the span also in this, but these are a little more advanced for this course and this lesson. So for now, we could just concentrate on these other ones, and this in further lessons we will discuss how they work and how you can use them in your web page. So just like I mentioned, these are other HTML attributes. We don't use src source, we don't use href, which basically mean hyperlink reference. Further in this lesson, we could also use alt, class, and id. Yes, and I think it's like we don't already go ahead of the content because we also don't discuss headings. Just like I mentioned, h1 is get right down to h5. So far in this course, I believe say you don't understand how to get headings in your web page, you don't understand how to deal with paragraphs, you don't understand how to get link to an image, you don't understand how to get link to external pages in your website. So I'm going to challenge you for pause this video now, also take 2 minutes, attempt this exercise, and then wherever you get stuck, just look back at the video and then you get the solution. After the 5 minutes, you can come and then we continue. So another really interesting element is the HTML list, how you able to list out items in your HTML page. And in HTML, we get 2 types of list. We get unordered list and ordered list. And just like how the name say, unordered list is a list that we not get. I don't want to say particular order, but they are not numbered. Right? Unordered list is just, like when you in a class where you take notes, or when somebody they talk, you they take notes. You just they make bullet points. They give them 1, 2, 3, 4. This in HTML are called unordered list. There is no particular order. It's not numbered from 1 to 4 or the likes. And for get unordered list is basically using the tag ul open and \ul as the closing tag, and then forget items inside this list, right? Because these 2 tags basically they say so they put an unordered list now. But you not talk anything about waiting the day inside this unordered list. So for declare or for get content or get items inside this unordered list where you don't create, now in you they use li. So let's go to the HTML code and see how this they work out. So first you declare the ul opening and close, and then li for list items. So create a short list about all your top 3 favorite things in the world. The thing that we like the most in the world. And third for me is, I don't want out of 44 right, so I just write water. So save this and then go to your web browser and see what we get. So you see, get this list we don't create, and on other list, just like I mentioned, on other list no they get number. It's just bullet points 1, 2, 3. Right. So you can create an another list of as many things as you like. And the next one we did with our ordered list. So I don't explain the concept. Let's go right into the code and see how ordered list they look like. So they do the same thing. Same content, make we see the differences with them putting there. Make you see how they differ and how they're similar. So we come, save, refresh, and here clearly we see the difference. On ordered list just gets bullet points, whereas ordered list gets numbers. So I want to give you another challenge. You can stop the video so and go try. I think if you're curious, you could ask the question: is it possible to get an ordered list inside an unordered list? So I'll let you go, try for figure them out. And if you're not able, or if you're able, you can come back and we walk through how to do that one day. Welcome back. So how did that exercise go? You manage for create you order the list inside your unordered list, manage for do that. But now let's go through how it's done, right? So we create an unordered list, but inside this unordered list, we get a particular section, we get an ordered list inside it, correct? And basically for the program, you declare for say I want to create an unordered list, and then you create a list item. First list item is sports. Then you create another list item, we call it movies, right? But then inside these movies, you want to create yes, I create another list of the things that were like sports movies, but inside my movies, I want to create like a sub list of my top 3. You understand? So we create, but inside the list item, we don't put movies. Then we can declare so we want to create an ordered list of the top 3 movies. So then you create the order list, opening and closing tag, and then you list and then you list your item, then top 3 favorite movies. 13 Hours in Benghazi, by far the greatest movie ever made. And then Cars, by far the greatest animated movie ever made, and one of the most annoying one, Dora. Right, and then just make we third list item, and then we call them food. But this is just part of the unordered list. They get an ordered list inside. So save this file and then go to your browser, refresh, and see the outputs. So here's the outputs, right? You get an ordered list of sports, movies, and food. But inside this unordered list, you get an ordered list of your top 3 favorite movies: 13 Hours, Cars, and Dora. Hope we understand that one day. Something very important here we need for go through are file paths, right? So earlier, just a few minutes ago in this same video, when we talk about creating links and including images in your HTML page, you mentioned using attributes like the hyperlink reference, the href, and the source attribute. And this basically, they only follow the concept of file paths, right? File paths are basically say who say they go for get this particular item. So let's say you get a picture saved in you and a directory called downloads on your laptop. Then you want to display that page in your web page. Just telling you computer or telling the HTML page say display image, it won't work. You need for direct and say okay, go to this particular folder, go take this particular file, we get this name, and at the file path then come inside. So there are things called absolute path where they provide the full URL, and another one they will use just not any page. These are the full URL to this particular content you will look for. Where you know they abstract anything, you just go take a full, you can display. Alright. And then we get relative file paths. So going forward, we're going to experiment with this wherein you dey work on an HTML project wherein you get like this folder, and inside this folder you get assets then where you want put now you web page assets can be pictures, gifs, whatever you want for put. So you create a folder inside that particular folder the way you HTML page there. And if you want for check anything inside that folder, they just come put the name of the folder before and that particular image. So let's say now we get this my first web page is saved now with desktop. If we get another picture in our desktop, we can create another folder called images in our desktop. And then when we want to use that images they in the HTML page, you just come and say images and then picture.jpg. So another exercise, pause the video. So just from this way you don't understand and feel free for do additional research. Attempt to do this exercise, and then when you know figure them out, we go come and walk through Okay, welcome back, and make we try to walk through the solution for this exercise. So the first step is create a folder called images in the same directory as your HTML file. So with HTML file in this with desktop, make we create a folder called images for them. Right? And the next thing you see, download an image and place it in the images folder. We already get this image, desktop whole 3. So they put her inside this HTML, inside this images folder, sorry. And then the third step say add the image to your HTML page, HTML file using relative path. And according to slides, we don't say for create a relative file path, we use the name of the folder outside the path there, / and then the name. So if we go, sorry. So if we go back to the code, here in the source, we put images when are the name of the folder where we create, / and the name of the picture with the inside that folder there. So we just rename, copy them, and then come and put them. And then save this, and if we go back to the page and refresh, we're supposed to see a day. Let's zoom out so we'll see it properly. Yeah, so this is that page where we put. When we get to styling, we'd learn how for style this properly where come this big, because when you use the file path, they come with the original dimensions of the picture. But once we get to CSS, when we learn how for style web pages, we would know how for resize this and put it into exactly how we want them for the. Then the next one say add the image. Yes, add another image using an absolute file path where we don't do before. So it's basically use another image tag, and this time go online, copy this link or link to whatever picture you want to use, put a name, you save them, go back to your page, refresh, and now we get 2 images, one using relative file paths, another one using absolute file paths. Then you save and view. Simple. And this is a personal assignment I want you for take on, which is just using the basic content, the basic knowledge we don't learn today. Use it now for create an HTML page first, how for create a heading, how for create a paragraph, how for create a list, how for link images, how for link external. Just this basic knowledge we don't get of CS of HTML, sorry. Use them for create a personalized web page of yourself. We go contain your name, short biography of yourself, a list of your hobbies and another list of your hobbies and another list of your top five favorite movies. Just like a resume, kind of using just this simple HTML element here where we don't learn today. And then in the next, let's see now, using this HTML page we will create from this exercise, we will style them, and at the end of this intro HTML and intro CSS sessions, you don't get a style resume of yourself in an HTML and CSS format. And then would probably, before going off onto advanced HTML and CSS, actually deploy this content on the internet for really see how it look like. So that's it for this lesson. I'll see you in the HTML session, and link to my socials and link to how to reach me if you get any additional questions will be in the bio. Thank you for joining and see you in the next lesson.